What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ben and this is 3T's Mobile Automotive Repair. Today is part 2 of our mini series, and what we're going to do is go ahead and get in the office. We're going to sit down and we're going to show you Tekmetric. That is our front end software that we use to make invoices and estimates and keep track of our expenses on customer relations. Once we're done with that, it all gets sent over to QuickBooks. So let's go check out Tekmetric and I'll show you exactly how it works. All right, y'all, we're in the office. We're gonna get at this, all right? So I'm gonna show you as much as I can show you here on Tekmetric, because all of my customers' information is in there and I can't have you see all that, and I'm not gonna try to go through doing all that blurring effect on the screen. So let me get this starting to do a record here for us. So first things first, typically you have a job board, and in that job board, I'll see if I can pull something up from Tekmetric's YouTube channel, like a screenshot of how the job board looks. I can't show you the job board because it's got all of my customers' information, their names, addresses, and phone numbers in there, and that's a lot of stuff to blur out. So what we got here, this is the gist of it. This is what the screen looks like. Now, there's 3 tiers to Tekmetric. So these are the 3 tiers that Tekmetric has. I have the Grow plan, which you can see is $349 a month. They have 2 others. You can kind of read what they are there. The reason why I went with Grow over Start is I wanted the integrated labor times. Because I want to be able to make a ticket fast. I don't want to have to go from this over to all data and then from all data back to input the labor times. All I have to do is open it up in here and click the buttons and it's fast. And I'll show you that here in a few. It does come with some extra stuff that I really just don't use at all. Like the time clocks and the job clocks. I don't use those. It does have inventory reports. I really don't use those either because I barely have any inventory. Marketing reports, I don't use that either. So I pay that extra for convenience. So you don't have to do that if you don't want to. It's just the labor guide for me. And when it comes to speed and accuracy of making estimates, it's well worth it for me on the extra $150. Can I use all that other stuff? Yes, I could. And maybe when my wife gets here and she's part of the company, she will use that. So those are the 3 plans. You can freeze the screen and look over those if you want. So let's go back. There's also, I'll just stay at the bottom here. So they got what's called a booking tool. This is in beta form. Now this, if you don't know, Tekmetric recently joined with Genie. Genie is a very, very good program. I used them for about a month last year, and then I went away from it, only because it's not really centered around the mobile service. It's centered around the shops. There's not much software out there that is centered around mobile service. I don't use a booking tool. A booking tool is good for a shop because you're there. And if someone wants to get onto a schedule because there's an opening, they can just book that spot and then show up. I cannot have customers book a spot just randomly on a schedule because it could take me outside of my coverage area or from one side of town to the other, and we don't do that. So the other parts of Genie are very, very good. So if you're interested in that, go check Genie out in general. And you can look at all the other options they have for SEO and marketing and stuff like that. So, payments. This is a new feature that Tekmetric has. It's called Tekmerchant, I think. You can track reports on your payments through that. Now, I have not been with... So my brain is retarded right now. I don't use the Tekmetric payments or Tekmerchant. I've been with Tekmetric so long now that I was there when they weren't offering this. Now, I could change over to them, and you can get offers like, Klarna and Affirm and stuff like that to offer your customers. I personally don't have a problem with customers paying, and I don't offer financing. I don't want to deal with it. It doesn't interest me. I don't usually have jobs where people can't afford to pay for their vehicle repairs. And I definitely am not in the business of selling financing to put someone in debt because they can't take care of their car. I'm not for that. I'm not screwing up people's lives. I don't like that. And I'm not going to get involved in it right now. The future, who knows? But right now I'm not. So I use 360 Payments, which at the time was offered through them, and it's fully integrated. If in my trailer I have a little credit card machine that as soon as I hit take payment on this, which you'll see later, it pops right up on the credit card machine, no problem. So that's their payment system, and it's very, very good. They'll give you or I think you have to buy it or rent it, a credit card machine. And then this payments tab, it would be in our reports later. This little bit you see here, which is like it says down in the corner, this is just a sample data. You can actually see the payments and your payouts, meaning with credit cards, when you swipe credit cards, every day my credit card machine will batch. And then the next day, all that money minus my fees will be deposited into my bank account. This is just more of an integrated way instead of me having to go to the 360 Payments website to look at my reports. This has the reports built in, so it's kind of neat. I got something in my nose. All right, so let's go up to the nitty-gritty stuff here, okay? Let's go to the job board. And so I'm going to use a test. I have a test customer when I have to check things and make sure my numbers are right and stuff. That's what I do. So it just says test. But if you have a new customer, you would click here on the right where it says add new customer, and then you would just add a vehicle. You can click this, you can add the VIN number in, or you can select a year, make, and model. In this case, since it's test is already a current customer, I have vehicles already preloaded. So we'll just choose this, my truck. It's a 24 Silverado. Here's my labor rate. Yes, I'm only at 115 right now because, like I said in some past videos, we are doing some trials on that to see exactly where we fit in our area. Now, here's that marketing source that I told you I don't really use. If I would have taken the time to ask every customer how they heard of us, I could choose this in here. But the main reason why I don't use it is because I don't pay for marketing. So I don't really need to track where it's coming from to see if my dollar is making me a return on those customers. So that's one reason why I don't use it. So once you have your customer chosen, you just hit create repair order, and this is what it brings up. So let's think of a job. I do AC, so I'll use this search bar right here. I'm going to do what's called a canned job. I'll show you more of those later, but if I type in evacuate and recharge, I have two different canned jobs here. A typical evacuation and recharge, and then the new refrigerant recharge. There's a price difference. So I'm going to click on this one, right? It automatically puts everything I need onto the ticket if I was only doing an evacuation and recharge, which has my refrigerant and has the labor time for it. So right here, we're going to go ahead and assign me as a technician, but I'm going to go ahead and open this up because evacuation and recharge means we fixed something, right? So we're going to hit labor, brings up our labor guide. This is why I like paying the extra. So I'm going to do compressor. Here's our air conditioning compressor. We click that. This is just the gas vehicle. So there's our labor time. You hit the plus sign and it adds it over here to the right. And we hit add to job and it's on our ticket, right? So now here's the next cool feature with our parts integration. So here we hit add part. I'm going to click parts tech. That's going to open up another screen for me. And this is where parts tech comes in handy. I'm going to type in compressor, AC compressor. Now it's going to bring up my four places that I have availability from. This is probably the worst truck in the world to pick because it's brand new. Let's go back so I can give you a better representation of this. We're going to open this up. We're going to choose my old truck. I used to have a 2013 F-150. Okay, so let's put the evacuation and recharge back on it real quick. And the compressor, if I can learn how to spell. Okay, there's that labor for that. All right, now let's get back into parts tech. So now we can do, I don't know how to spell. So now it'll pull up all of the compressors that are available for this vehicle from my 4 vendors that I use on a daily basis. So now if you guys know I use 4 Seasons, I like them because it's what's easiest to get. If I can't use that, I would use GPD or UHD or the dealer. That's the ones that I feel are the best. So here's our options, right? AutoZone is where I get my 4 Seasons from. So here's a kit. Right here, I could add this to my ticket. Here's a reman. It just tells you what it is right here. Tells you your warranty times. And here's just a compressor. That's all I want. I just want the compressor. I don't want the entire kit. We're just going to throw this on there because let's just say it had a bad clutch, but the internals are fine. So I clicked add to cart, which puts it over here on the right-hand side and then has how much I have to pay for it. So I'm going to hit submit quote. This is going to get kicked back to my ticket. So now I can close this tab. So here it is. Add parts from Parts Tech. Yep. And now it puts that directly onto my ticket right here. 4 Seasons, new compressor, the part number, and my cost. Now, do you see how this is in green? That's my parts matrix. It automatically marks up my part. So if I hit save and I assign myself to the ticket, we are now going to see exactly right here, $889.40 is what it costs the customer. This ticket is holding a 56.14% profit margin. It's just barely within my cusp of where I allow a ticket to be. But it's a more expensive ticket, so I'm okay with that 55. If it was a cheaper ticket, I'd like to see that closer to 65. It's just my preference on where I'd like to be. That way, if I do only hit a 50%, I'm still in good standing, okay? So that's it. That's how quick it is to make an estimate. And then when I'm ready to send it to the customer, you have these 4 buttons up here. I would just hit share and share estimate, and I could send it to my email or somebody's cell phone. This is just a random cell phone number. And I would just hit send, and that's it. So let's go ahead and send it to my email so you can see what it looks like firsthand. All right, so this is what the email looks like if it was sent to you at your customer. The customer would come in and they would hit view estimate, and this is what they would see, right? They would see exactly what we just showed you, and they have the option to approve it or decline it. So when they approve it, they would have to hit sign here. They would sign, insert it, and then hit authorize. And that comes back to me and tells me that the customer authorized the ticket and that we can move forward with setting them up on the schedule. And my phone went off telling me that I have that email. So if I was showing you my job board, which I'm not going to, you would see that move from the left side, which is inspections, and then to work in progress. And when work in progress is done, it goes to payment. And that's when I take my payment. So here's the ticket, right? When we're done with it, you can see now authorized has been blacked out. And up here it says approved on 4/18/2025 at 10:29 a.m. We have the option to do the job. So now we'll hit work in progress. When we could start a timer here. I don't use that. But when we're done, we hit complete work, put our mileage in. It's probably not going to let me go through because I don't have parts ordered. But you would hit complete work, and then you come over to your payment tab, and this is where you can collect your payment. You can do cash, check, credit card, or other. So with me and other, I go to other, and then I just type it in here. It's typically Cash App. That's how people pay. outside of credit card or cash or a check. And then I would hit take payment. After I hit take payment, you can post that repair order and it's now in your books. That's just scratching the surface of the estimates and invoices themselves. Up on the top here, while you're in here, you can hit profit analysis, right? So this will tell you exactly where your profit for your labor is at. Mine's at about 72.2%. The parts total on that job are a little low because we're pretty expensive on that compressor at 45.5%. Now we can change that by upping the cost of that part. Again, this is just a test, so don't take these numbers seriously. It's just me showing you kind of how this looks and how the program works. It gives you a full breakdown. Here's the rate at what this would be. It's $1.15 an hour, but at 0.7 it costs $80.50. Or it would be $80.50 for the total labor. And then the cost is $22.40, and that's our profit, gives you the margin, and so on down that profit analysis. It's a very good tool to have because you need to be able to check that stuff. If your gross profit of your jobs is way too low, you're not making money in order to grow and do something better with your company. All right, so you got other stuff up here towards the top. Like I said, you got smart jobs, right? Smart jobs are these with the little blue check marks next to it. These are pretty cool. So we could do this. Let's just hit spark plug R&R, right? It automatically takes the labor and creates this for us. And it automatically starts to open our parts tech catalog so I can choose what spark plugs I would like to use, right? Let's just say I wanted to go with advanced this time. I just click advance and I'll hit these Denso spark plugs. It'll take a minute because my internet's being stupid. And then it's done. That was that quick on smart jobs. Just apply yourself as the technician. You can change your category if you want, put it to whatever you need, and the ticket's done. That's why I push products like this. Tekmetric is what I like. I've tried others in the past, didn't like them very much at all. This, the design of it, the way my head can take it visually, this works really, really well. So those are the tickets, right? I'm not going to keep it here. We're just going to move on. You can go to sublet. Let's say it got towed, right? You can add a sublet cost. It puts it into the bottom right here. Just put whatever you need to put in as the sublet. You've got discounts. It'll add a separate discounted line so it's not on your ticket itself, so you can keep watching your margin on the part job of it, but then put your discount in afterwards. It'll change your numbers if you put it on the ticket, and we don't want that. We want to keep it clear. You could add fees. So like I have a few fees. I have shop supplies. I don't do tires. It's just in there. And I have my battery fees, and I have shipping fees, just in case parts have to have shipping costs on them. Maintenance schedule. This is something that's relatively new. I don't use it much, but it does pull that information in because I'm not much of a maintenance style company. I'm more about diagnostics and repairs, but you might do maintenance. This will be very, very good for you because you can upsell all those extra little things that we don't personally go after that much. This here tells us we have something pending in our cart in parts tech, which is the compressor. So if I delete this, that goes away. So right here, this other top section, you can put, this does not get put on the customer's ticket. You can put vehicle concerns, type in what you need. That's what your customer's problem are with the car. Check engine light on, AC doesn't work, brakes make noise. Whatever you need to do, that's technically from the office for the technician. Since I'm both, I already know what the car is, and we could utilize this for later on so I can go back and look at job history. You have decline jobs. If you had, let's say you are using technicians outside of your office, decline jobs are a good way for in the office. When the customer comes in for an oil change, they can go to decline jobs and say, hey, Mr. Billy Bob, you declined this service last time. Would you like to get it done this time? If they say yes, you can literally just add it to the ticket in a blink of an eye. If you need to, if they come in and say, I have this going on and I had a check engine light and now it's on again, you could go to job history and you could look at what was actually done in the past if they ever had a check engine light on and why it was there. You can print that out and give it to your technician. So your technician knows the job history already for that customer and their complaint for why they're coming in today. Don't forget to put your diag time on the ticket though. That's really all that's in the estimate invoice form here. On the right hand side, it just shows the service writer information, the vehicle info, and the customer info. If I was paying more money for the biggest plan, these would work for me. So it would tell you your filter numbers, wiper blades, tire size, battery size, certain specs, service bulletins, and fluids and everything. Again, I don't pay for that because I don't use it, so I'm not paying for that extra stuff. So that's the main purpose here. Speed, accuracy, and keeps things very clean for us so we can go back and keep track of everything for our customer instead of me handwriting it out. All right, so let's go to the next thing. What do we got? Tech board, that's not part of my plan. Appointments, they get put on here when jobs get sold, but again, they are not, it's not something I use. I use this here. You guys have already seen. This is my schedule damn near set up for next week. Might have a few tweakings here to do, but this will be how my week will be next week. So we've got inventory. Mine's a cluster, okay? It is the most idiotic thing in the world, but it does tell you everything. It tells you our total value of the inventory, all the stuff I use. The only things I have in here typically is oil, Freon, wiper blades, headlights. Did I say oil? Yeah, oil, bulbs. That's really about it. The other stuff that's in there is because I was playing around with numbers and seeing how things work. But that's all I use is the oil, Freon, and bulbs and stuff like that. Okay, so we can go to orders, right? This keeps track of every single order that I put through Parts Tech. And you can go to Parts Tech separate webpage also. But this here, all we have to do, if I click this, it's going to take me to the customer's ticket, which I don't want to do. But if you click this, or actually this will take us to our purchase order, which is right here. Tells us where we got it, what their address is. Typically the invoice number would be here, but I didn't have my invoice number. When we ordered it and how much we paid for it, if there's a core, and our total cost of what those parts would have been. So like this one was the truck I did yesterday, which was the purge solenoid and the temp sensor on that Silverado. And if I click RO, it'll take us directly to his ticket, which I'm not going to do because of his personal information. So that's what orders are. So every time you order from Parts Tech, it automatically gets put in here. And then when I have all of my paperwork and orders from the week that I still have to do, that's what today is all about. I have to go in there and put in the invoice number from the ticket so I can track it. That way, my PO number and the invoice number are how, if I have a discrepancy on a cost on a part or anything like that, and I have to go back and deal with O'Reilly or Advance or AutoZone or somebody and search for something, or if I have to search for a warranty or something like that, it'll automatically do all that for me. I can just click it and find out the information. Okay, so I'll go over reports after. Customers, that's obviously just our customer list. Our vendors, these are any vendor that I've used. So Palm, Chevy, O'Reilly's, Nissan Parts Deal, Lowe's, LKQ, Jenkins, Hyundai, Jasper, Flashmasters, that's what's up. I just hit it. And so on and so on. You can kind of get the gist of it. So if I order a part from somewhere, I have to be able to post it against a certain vendor so I know what I'm dealing with, on who they are, where they come from, and why I ordered it from there. Okay, canned jobs. So here's canned jobs. These are my canned jobs. We have a couple I use and a couple I don't use, right? Our simple ones, oil changes, battery changes. I just have that there so it automatically puts the fees on the ticket for me. Car brake kits, car brake pad only, check engine light, diesel oil service, evacuation and recharge, leak tech, check, inspections, so on and so on. What that does is it automatically, let me go in and like just edit it, but look at it. So what it does is it gives me my ballpark ticket already set up for what my cost should be, and all I have to do is update the part. Typical pads are about $34.99 for most cars or trucks. Then there's a separate cost for the rotors and stuff like that. This is a brake pad only one. So if I was to go back to the can jobs and hit this one, I have the typical rotor on there. And that's for your everyday vehicle. That's not for every truck, and it's not for every car. You obviously have to edit it from here, but this is a quick way to get the ticket started. And all you have to do is change the part a little bit. Most of the time, the labor is perfect because of how I set it up. Inspections. These are just my 3 typical inspections if I have them on a ticket. So I can take pictures and add it to my inspection form, which I will go back and show you that now. So when you're in here, we have up on top summary, which I didn't show you before, so I apologize. Let's go back to it. This activity feed. It literally tells us everything that's happening every time we click something. Change labor, add labor, get an approval for a job, anything that's on there. Our past appointments for that customer, our job history, our inspection history, our purchase orders, and our authorization history. So like here, that digital signature that I did earlier, it shows up and we can look at the PDF of it and it shows exactly what it is and then my signature that I did and the time and date stamp that it was done and what IP address it was done from. All of this right here is when I tell you guys to be legal, this is state of Florida. This is the state of Florida that requires all of this to be on your estimate and invoice form. It has to be this way. If you don't do it this way, they will keep kicking it back and then you'll get fined for it until you get it right. So when you've got other mobile guys out there that are doing work for you and they don't have this to help protect you, that's on you, not us, but it's on him too. But you should be checking to make sure, here, I request a written estimate. I can't do anything unless I give that to them if they check that off. Same thing here. I do not request one as long as the repairs do not exceed whatever the customer wants. If you read that top one though, that under the state of law, I am entitled to a written estimate if my final bill will exceed $150. So all you people out there that are having people do work on your cars and you're putting in part after part after part after part and it's not fixing it, you have a little bit of leg to stand on when it comes to this stuff, okay? Pay attention to it. Make sure you're getting taken care of by the right company. And then also up top, we have inspections. So we can come over here and I can open up this inspection and I can add a picture to it. I can add a video to it. This is what they call DVIs, digital vehicle inspections. Again, I don't really use it much. So there's a lot of features I don't use, but now we'll go back to what we were doing. You do employees, leave without saving. So it's just me. That's it. It just has my information and what I'm allowed to do on the program, and I have it set at $32 an hour. That was just kind of the number I kind of figured out based on how I'm running my company. All right, so shop settings. So like here's my MV number, which is on my trailer, my tax ID numbers, and my Tekmetric shop address. So you got RO settings up at the top within shop settings. This is where we can change our labor rates. We can change our shop fees, whatever discounts we have set up, our taxes. This is our sales tax, all of the job categories that I need to get better at, our payment settings, These are all things that are in the payment tab. Invoicing numbers, don't need to change that. Advanced settings. These are just a few things that you could go through if you decide to use the program. Like, it always requires me to put an odometer in and out. I need to have that. I need to require a tech on labor. That way you can't close the ticket without doing these things that are checked off. Appointments, we don't use that. So here's my parts markup. If you want to take a screenshot of it, go ahead. Here's another one that the top one is the one I'm using currently. Estimates and invoices. This allows us to have certain things shown on the estimate and invoice form, as you can see. Show a labor description, yes. Show labor hours, yes. So I have damn near everything chosen except for part brand, part number, and additional part details, because that's more of our side of things. The customer doesn't need to see all that stuff. We don't have key tags, so we don't use that. Marketing, again, I don't use the marketing. Customers. This is requirements for customer information. I probably should do this. That way I can actually start getting that information. Because you know how many customers I have to text back and to go, what's your address again? Because I'm an idiot and I never save it. Employees, I do not have this. This is part of the other option. Integrations. This is kind of the fun stuff. So the integrations I use is the back office and 360 payments. So that's my wireless terminal and the back office, which at the end of the day, or the end of the week, whatever, actually it's the end of the day, there's this company, the back office. It's a $50 a month add-on for integration. What it does is it takes every bit of information that I did for the day as far as my closed and paid for ROs, repair orders. And it takes it and it pushes it over and puts it directly into QuickBooks for me. The best thing I've ever dealt with, especially if you're someone like me that does not have an office secretary staff or anything like that. I need these types of integrations to go and to make this as seamless as possible. Now, some people are like, oh, I don't trust it. Well, this is a technology age. Get over the trust and just do it. It is the best option ever. You can see here, I started using it January 1st of 2023. That's when I first started using that part of that program. But you can get a million other integrations and Parts Deck I use, sorry. There is an integration for all data, but it's a little clunky and I don't really prefer it. All of these, you can go through here and look at these if you end up using the program, but there's a lot. And all of these are centered around helping you grow as a company, whether it's marketing, all of your SEO information, reviews, stuff like that. Okay, what else we got? Payments. I don't have this tab. We already looked at that. All right, y'all. I forgot to record the reports section, so I'm in my pajamas on Saturday morning. But let's go check it out, all right? So this is where I typically show you guys my end of day when I'm doing the ride-along videos and stuff like that. So this is the reports. These are all financial reports. These are employee reports, customer reports, and parts reports. So in financial reports, you can see end of day, right? So this week, you can see where I showed you on the ride-along that came out yesterday. This shows you every detail of our costs, and like down here on the left, it tells you how we get paid: credit cards, cash, check, or other. My other is usually Cash App. So that shows you all of the dollar amount that we took in, all of our sales and discounts and net sales. It's just a very good representation of what's going on. You can check and change it. Obviously, today is Saturday. There's no work. You can do year to date. You can do customs, meaning I can just choose a date range. Okay, let's go back. Cash drawer. I don't use a cash drawer. Custom financial. So this gives us here, we can do a certain period change. We can compare, so we can do, let's do compared to previous year, January 1st to April 19th, to see where we're at from last year to this year. So I'll tell you here, car count. Last year we did 229 cars. This year we've got 267 cars. Our total gross profit is up by 1%. Our total, let's see, our net sales last year was better. This year not as good. Yeah, that's all the numbers that change. So whatever you need, effective labor rate, close ratio, average work repair order, hours sold, hours presented. You can see all that different stuff. You can see here, this is my change, right? Hours presented and hours sold. You're going to see a big difference here. That big difference is because I got more uniform on charging my diagnostic fees. I was very lax on that last year, and I would get paid for it, but I would never put it into the system. I wasn't giving it the opportunity it needed for me to show proper numbers. Reports, sales details. Oh, that's got people's information on it. Same thing with sales tax, tire tax. I can't really go into that because it shows people's information. Profit details, same thing, shows my customer's information. So I'll just kind of crop this bottom piece out. But it just tells us our profits, right? $38,000 in profits from fees, profits from parts, profit from labor. It just, every bit of report that you can need to check on your company and how it's going. Accounts receivable. I don't have accounts receivable because I do not have fleet accounts or commercial accounts where they have like a net 30 or net 60 payment option. Accounts payable. This is my parts places. I really don't use this. I pay my parts every single week. So when my week is over, whatever parts I actually used and completed a job on, I pay that bill. It's just how I do things. I do not like it going over. So this one here, it shows that like I owe this money and I don't. But that's because I don't use this into QuickBooks. I use that on the QuickBooks side, which is more efficient for me and better. Because in here, these accounts payables, so like right here where it says advance on this guy's RO, it was $150 of parts I ordered. If I were to just use this as it kicked over to there, it will not show me my shop supplies. Or if I bought a tool at one of the auto parts stores or anything like that. And that stuff I personally have to split in QuickBooks as small tools and equipment or shop supply costs. So if I spend, let's say, $900 at AutoZone this week, but $300 of that was for a 30-pound tank of refrigerant, then I have to take that $900, remove $300, because $600 of it was for cost of goods sold. That's parts for the customer. But I categorize that into my inventory. So there, it takes it and moves it to other expenses so we can keep it all categorized. This, unfortunately, they don't have that option just yet. I'm sure they will in future, but as of right now, it does not. What was that? Accounts payable, so same thing. Fees, these are just where I've taken fees from year to date, but we typically would go, well, this would be correct, we would do quarterly. State of Florida, you on sales tax, you have to pay solid waste. So solid waste is based on batteries and tire fees. So I have battery fees here because I've sold 1 or 2 batteries here and there. Discounts, if you were to give someone a discount, sales by job category. This is something else that you can use to track what you're doing. Again, I slack on this. When I make a ticket in that top section where the my brain went empty, in the top section where the technician is at, Or I think I showed you. Yeah, you could, and I said you could choose the category, and I had just clicked on accessory when we did the spark plug spark job. You can choose the category you want to put it to, and that'll keep track of in here. So like here, you know, diagnostics. I had 79 diagnostics. Let's actually just go look at April. Be a little easier to kind of see. So see how it says none, 43 jobs in none category? If I had put proper categories in there, I would be seeing exactly where my jobs are being sold from instead of me just not knowing what the hell it is. Oh, by the way, do you like my cup? It's an oil filter. It's by this company Clutch. I saw it on Instagram and my wife got it for me for Christmas because she actually likes me. As she's sitting off behind the camera smirking and making faces at me. And then this one here, Hacker Tracker board. Oh, that's got customer information on it. I can't show you that. Never mind. All right, employee reports. You can do timesheets, commissions, and technician hours. I don't have technicians, so I don't utilize it. Customer reports. Can't show you any of this, but it's just our customer list, how the marketing is, decline jobs, and our lead sources. I don't use that stuff because I do not pay for marketing. And parts reports. You can look at parts purchased. So it, like for April, it says I bought $4,869 worth of parts. But if we go back to parts reports and part usage, we've only used so far $2,968 in parts. What that means is these jobs, oh, it's showing people's names. Oh, it doesn't show anything, just their first and last name. Okay, that's fine. Those are the jobs that have been completed. The other jobs, I've ordered those parts, but those jobs aren't completed yet. Mainly like I have a few jobs from this week that we didn't do that I'll probably do next week, I think, or the week after. Especially one, it's a big diesel. I don't do diesel stuff, but it's air conditioning. I actually have it here. So the vacuum reservoir for the old Fords and an evaporator. You know what's really annoying? I have one of those in my truck. So obviously I ordered it, but because it wasn't ordered through the system, because it wasn't something I could use Parts Tech for on like the dealer, another one showed up. I think I bought it twice and I don't know where I got the other one from. So now I have two. I got to find out where I can return one. Or I'm going to have an extra for the next 20 years. Okay, parts reports. That's really about it there. I do think, though, there's some other stuff. So in orders here, when I was showing you my orders line, you got returns line. So within a ticket, if I have to return a part or take a part off a ticket, it'll ask me. Let me see if I can go to that and show it. Let me pull up the truck I was working on. So let me just go add a job. This is the truck we were looking at yesterday. Let's add a part to it real quick. Doesn't matter what part it is. So oil filter. Actually, this isn't going to work because I'm not going to actually order the part. So you see how there's a part on the job and you see like right up here, there's no like, see how this is pink right here in the center of the screen? There's no pink up in, I keep using my hand to show you, but you're not on camera. Right underneath where it says add concern, it'll pop up pink if I were to open this up and just delete that. If I ordered it. If I ordered it, that means I paid for it. So it would pop up pink there and it would ask what I want to do with it. I would have to hit return part. Then it would pop up into this area right here. So I would come in here and choose all of the AutoZone ones because I could only choose the auto ones at one time. And then I'll enter this return. I'm just putting a number here. And I put this on a credit card return because that does not get kicked over to QuickBooks because I don't use this in QuickBooks like I said before. So if you remember some of those numbers before, we were up by like $2,000 worth of parts purchased. So let's just hit all of these returns, which was like the past month or so. Now, if I go to reports and accounts payable, parts reports. All right, so parts usage we do was at $29.68. Let's see if that changes. It did not. I guess that's because it's actually purchased and not and whatever. I don't know how that works. Okay, we're gonna delete that part. All right, so return orders, that's how you take, oh, I did actually hit the refunds. So we come here, hit this, and then we actually hit the refund is complete. But you can see it, I hit it already, but it was $2,500. So let's go back to our reports and let's see if that changes. Parts purchased, yep. So now we go. Now we're down $2,700 on parts purchased versus parts usage. We're at $29.68. So if you want those numbers to change based on what you've purchased and not purchased, you need to go in and activate those returns. Again, those returns for me do not get put over to QuickBooks at all. So then the only other one here is sublet work. This here was a tow that I did. Was this one a tow? I don't remember what this one was. This was in December of last year. Not really worried about that. I don't use sublet much. Like very rarely do I do sublet, which would just be a tow. I'll have some of my tow truck guys that are around here. He lives in the neighborhood. Send him to go pick up a car. I pay him, and then it gets put on the ticket. That way, the money that is paid back on that, we know where it came from. So we know where to allot the tax and everything else and track our income, exactly where it's coming from. So anyway, I know that was a quick version of the reports. I don't use a lot of them, but I wanted to show it to you so you can see exactly what it was. And like I said, I forgot to add it in the ticket. So I just wanted to record it real quick. Now you're going to finish watching the rest of that video. And the booking tool. So that's pretty much everything that inside Tekmetric has to offer. Let's see what else I can look at here. Yeah, that's really about it, y'all. That's all that I have to say really about Tekmetric. There's a lot more to it. There's ways that we could quickly and easily make a warranty job, but again, I'd have to show you customers' information, so I can't really do that. And I'm not very good at the editing side of blocking all that stuff. So that's it. That's Tekmetric. I love the program. It works wonders for me. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else on here that I could show you for it. I don't think there really is. I know it was kind of quick. I'm not very good at this type of video, so I hope some of it helps you. If you got questions on it, please leave a comment below because I will answer that for you if I missed it in the video. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. And all right, so that's Tekmetric. Yeah, I think I hit everything for you guys there. There's not... let me just shut this off real quick because I don't know what I'm doing. I think I hit every aspect of it. I know it's quick. I'm not very slow when I talk about those things. I don't necessarily... I'm not great at this stuff when it comes to showing you all these things. I'm trying my best with it, so I hope it really works out, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you got questions about anything I went over in there, or you want me to slow down and do it again another day, I'll be glad to do that. Just give me your feedback on what you think. This isn't going to be the most entertaining video in the world, but you guys have been asking about the software, and this is what it is that I use. We do have more software that we will be using, or that we do use, and I will be making some videos on it, which is basically all data and Identifix. I won't be showing you my QuickBooks because there's too much personal information in there. But outside of that, that's Tekmetric. So if you like what we're doing, don't forget to like and subscribe and go follow us on TikTok. There's a link down below in the link tree. And I appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on our next part of our mini-series.